Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Kitty G, and we're back again. We're going to be talking today about a bunch of stories. There's a bunch of news to talk about. First, you got none other than Ruben Neves himself being linked to Arsenal. You have Bissouma wanting to join Arsenal again. You have a bunch of other stories. But before we get any further, I need you guys to do me a favor. Smash that like button. It's absolutely free. It helps the channel grow, and you guys are helping attract more eyes to the channel by just smashing that like button. It takes 2 seconds of your time. If you can do that right now, I'll wait. Yeah, it should be all set. But we're also going to be talking about none other than ODEGAARD being the #1 target apparently. Who we want, Bissouma. Who do we want now that BERND is gone? Who do we want? Do we want Ruben Neves as a GRANIT XHAKA replacement? We're going to talk about EDOUARD. Right now in the description, you can see clearly I've written down everything in the description, so you can check that out. And one thing I'm going to ask you guys is, do me a favor, leave a comment below if you're watching on the playback or if you're watching live. But let's get this show started. EGTV, you already know what it is. Bang. Yes, people. How's it going? How are you doing today on this wonderful Sunday morning? I want to ask you guys, how's everybody doing today? Are you guys doing well? Everybody's good. Love. What? Good. Okay, should I say good afternoon? I'm sorry. Why did I say morning? Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are in this world, right? But let's get the show started. First things first. I want to welcome the people on YouTube. We got about 30 of you guys on YouTube. Big up to everybody watching on YouTube. Thank you guys. You guys are the heart and soul of the channel. And smash those like buttons, people. We got the people in the chat already doing their thing. We got Gunnar Express in the house. Gunnar Express, what are you saying?
Yeah, how are you, man?
I'm chilling. Kesh is supposed to be rolling through in a minute, guys. But first things first, let me just go to the comment section and say hi to the people. We got my guy here saying, what up? We got Andre Williams. I feel for Arsenal fans. Yeah, man, we've been suffering, man. Realist in the chat saying, yo, like and subscribe, people. We got Tim Smith, Leeds fan. Big up, Tim. We got Baller right here saying Arsenal fans probably feel drained right now. Yo, you know it. You know it. H7 saying, yeah, Big EG, what's good? Don't want Neves. He's shit. Ooh. We're going to talk about Neves in a bit, but I've heard that this is a popular opinion. A lot of people don't want Neves. I don't. I personally, I'll get into it in a second. But let me lay out what we're going to be talking about today, just so you guys know. We're going to be talking about the whole situation with what happened with BERND. We're going to be talking about the Neves situation. We're going to be talking about Bissouma situation. We're going to also get into a couple more situations. Did you guys hear about? Did you hear about the possible Eddie Nketiah to Leeds? Eddie Nketiah is prepared to leave Arsenal. Supposedly, Arsenal missed out on Odsonne Edouard when we actually never even made a move for him. So, and I thought the Leicester deal was already done. So it makes no sense. But yeah, let's get into some of you guys. Neves is actually a bad boy. Trust me. He's lost his motivation playing for Wolves. Wow. Neves is a XHAKA regen. What? EGTV, big up yourself, man. Where's the link? I want to call in later. Yeah, I'll send the link out to everybody around, I would say, half an hour. I'm just gonna try to actually get through some of the stories before we send the link out, because once we have a lot of people in here, it can get ridiculous, right? 50 people in the chat right now and only 18 likes. Come on, people. And yo, people on Facebook, come join us for the rest of the video on YouTube, right? Now let's get this show started, people. First things first, if you guys haven't heard, there's been a big story today dropping of Ruben Neves from Wolves to Arsenal. So the story about Ruben Neves joining Arsenal is kind of like a repeat of what we did a couple of weeks ago. If you remember, a couple of weeks ago we had a similar story, and it's just a regen of that similar story. And a lot of people don't really want him. So I tweeted this out just to see what people's reactions would be. And you know what? A lot of people were saying they don't want him. So I want to ask you, Gunnar Express, what do you think? Ruben Neves, are you interested in him?
No, not really. I mean, he's going to be pretty expensive as he's one of Wolves' key players, so they're not just going to let him go for like, 20 million. It'll probably be in the ranges of 30, 40. And I mean, there's just better players out there. Like, I don't think he's particularly bad, but I don't think he's great. But again, for me, it's more the fact that you've got like Bissouma's on the market, you've got Renato Sanchez at Lille, you've got Coop Miners, Locatelli, Barella. There's just players for me that are better, that offer more to Arsenal, and we need a defensive midfielder, and Neves for me can do that, but he's more of a playmaker. Like he can create play more. So I just don't think he's the right fit for Arsenal personally.
Interesting. So you're not into this whole Neves deal. You're saying personally Neves is a no-go for you?
Again, I don't think a lot of people are saying that he's a crap player and that he's rubbish and that he's worse than XHAKA. And no, he's not. He's a good footballer. He is. And the only reason he looks worse this season is because there's nobody to create play with. Him and Jimenez usually link up really well. But as I said, I just don't think he suits Arsenal, and he's not what we need right now. We need someone more defensive.
Mustafa is saying Neves is a good signing with Bissouma. It's Aaron, the Donchester fan, by the way. Yo, Aaron, how many accounts do you have, by the way? What the hell is this? What is that? Okay, just DM me on Twitter. What do you call it? Neves is a good replacement for XHAKA. Yo, and guys, we got the guy here himself. Yo, Cash, where you been at, bro? How you been?
What's up, man?
Yo, man, we got so much to ask you, man, because there's been so... Oh, what happened? Okay. We lost Cash for a second. But yeah, getting back to the Neves thing. Yo, personally, I think he's a baller. I think Neves is a good player, just like Mavro saying. Neves means no Bissouma. You see, this is where I start to question the club. If we get Neves in and that means no Bissouma, I don't want Neves if it means we're not getting Bissouma. You get what I'm saying? But we're going to talk about Bissouma or Neves in a bit. So for you, is it a thumbs up or thumbs down? Because people, you guys know what we do. Thumbs up or thumbs down for Neves. For me, it's thumbs up all day. I think he would be an upgrade on Granit Xhaka. I think people underestimate his actual technical ability, and you question Xhaka's speed. You can also question Neves' speed, but in my opinion, Neves is a better player than Xhaka. He may not be as good passing range wise, but overall player, I feel like he's a better player than Granit Xhaka. And to play at and to play at Wolves and do what he does, honestly, I'm sorry guys, I'm laughing because my wife keeps doing Yo, Cash. Oh, why he added himself? Yo, you there? Can't hear him. Oh,
you hear me?
Yeah, you muted yourself for a second. But yo, right now what we're talking about is the Neves deal. What do you think about this deal, man? Is he the player that we need?
Listen, I wouldn't say he's not the player we need, because if you're looking at where Wolves was the year before, a lot of fans were screaming that Neves is a good player that should be playing a lot higher. Obviously, because where Wolves have dropped off this season, it seems that a lot of fans are just being flip-floppy on how much they rate the player. I think he's a very good player. Whether or not he suits our system, I don't know. I genuinely do not know. I do feel Arsenal need to modernise their midfield and get a lot more legs in there. We need players who can do both sides of the game. I'm not quite sure if he's capable of that.
Okay, so the question for you is, if Xhaka is being sold, do you see him as an adequate replacement for Xhaka?
I do. Listen, if you look at Neves, he's not conceded any penalties since he's been at Wolves. I don't think any goals have been from a build-up of him making a mistake. So from that side, he is an improvement on Xhaka. Whether or not it's a drastic improvement, I wouldn't say so.
All right. Yeah, man. And yo, there's just been so much stuff we haven't spoken to you about. We haven't had you on in a while, so it's nice to have you back. And yo, I'm gonna have to ask you a bunch of things at the end if you believe half the fake news that's coming out, right? But yeah, Gunnar King, same question. Ruben Neves, do you want him? Yes or no?
Look, he's a player I like, but at the moment, I think we need to be prioritizing someone a bit more combative and with more of a physical presence. to partner Partey in midfield. Like, Ruben does have these qualities, but I think Ruben's attributes are more of a box-to-box player, someone that is looking to get involved in attacking movement more. And to be honest, I think Partey needs help more. I personally think for the amount of money we're going to pay for Neves, it's going to be similar or fairly comparable to the money that Brighton are asking for Bissouma. So I just want us to get Bissouma done before we start looking at other players. Look, the Buendia thing, Villa priced us out of, you know, the move because of what they were prepared to pay and what they were prepared to pay up front. But I think what we should learn from that situation is if we hang around on the players that we actually want and we actually need, other teams aren't going to fuck around and they're just going to come in and just do what needs to be done. And I do not want to see Bissouma become a repeat of the Buendia situation. So Neves, good player, but I just think he shouldn't be our priority focus right now.
All right. Yo, Gunnar Express, you still there?
Yeah, I'm sir.
Enough said. And then we're adding Azan to the conversation. Also, people in the chat, let me know what you guys think. Also, is it a thumbs up for you guys? Is it a thumbs down? No to Neves. I'll take Bissouma and Barella. Is that Barella?
Yeah, Barella, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the link in the chat later for everyone else to jump in. Right now, I'm just gonna actually go through some of the stories. Right. So the first story we heard was the first story I heard yesterday was Eddie Nketiah was offered to Leeds. Now, I don't think he's going to go to Leeds, but does this show that the club is really trying to move Eddie Nketiah on this summer? And Kesh, I know you had some inside track on this originally. You're one of the first people to say Eddie Nketiah is out the door this summer. Do you still think that's 100% going on?
I think he'll be gone. Whether or not we're going to get 20 for him, that's a big ask, man. A very big ask. I know people look at the Brewster transfer from Liverpool to Sheffield United and make comparison. I think that is very much a one-off. For a player that's never played at this level, I feel Eddie Nketiah is better than Brewster. But you're not going to expect someone like him to be signed for 20 mil and go straight into someone's starting lineup. But the most you'd be looking to get for Eddie Nketiah is about 10 to 15 mil tops. Whether it will be Leeds, I highly doubt it. Leeds can do a lot better than Eddie Nketiah. Nketiah will be looking at probably a Norwich or something like that, if anything.
All right, what about you, Gunnar King?
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with what a lot of what was said there. Look, I like Nketiah. I don't want it to seem like I don't like him. I think the unfortunate thing with him is that he's a striker that has probably grown up playing with a second striker or as a second striker. You know, he simply doesn't fit our system of playing one up front because he doesn't have that kind of physical presence and the hold up and the link up play. He is essentially just a very good finisher that relies on being fed by another striker playing very closely to him. I can't see us adapting and making the widespread overhauls and changes needed in our midfield and our attack to complement his skill set. So I think it's the right move to be trying to get rid of him. I do think we have to be realistic. I think 15 million, maybe with add-ons, would be where I would kind of set our stall up in terms of the fee that we get for him. But I think it's right for everyone involved that, you know, that he does move on. And look, maybe even with a buyback clause inserted. You know, Real Madrid are so good at doing this. You know, if they've got a young talent that they think might develop, you know, they insist on a buyback clause going in there. I'd like to see us bullying clubs more in the way that we do our business, and maybe putting that in there just to kind of cover ourselves might be a good thing to do as well.
Someone saying Neves is bang average. They're talking about Eddie Nketiah possibly being part of a swap deal for Bissouma. I would love it if you could help sanction move for a player that we want. But first, guys, do me a favor. There's 116 of you guys in the chat. Let's get to at least 80 likes. That would really help me out, guys. Now, moving on before we move on from Eddie Nketiah, I want to know, everybody here thinks Eddie Nketiah surplus his requirements at Arsenal at this point, and he should just move on. Everyone here agrees?
Sure, 100%.
Okay, so then there's no. So then now the question is, how much can we attract financially from him? I personally, anything over 10 million, I think is realistic. Anything under 10 million is a rip off. But what Kesh said, he is worth more than Brewster. But Liverpool, the way they did the sales package, it was like Sheffield United didn't have to pay everything up front. I think it was like installments or some long payment system where it goes up to 23 million. If I don't think we're gonna ever get 23 million. Eddie Nketiah.
What you got to remember as well.
Can I just add with the sorry to interrupt, Egal. Big up everyone on the panel and what's good, bro. But with the whole Brewster thing, like that wasn't that the back? Wasn't that sale the back of them winning the Champions League?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
So I mean,
So
I know
the cost, yeah.
I know he himself didn't really have like a major role in terms of their success through the Champions League, but because Liverpool had that clout in that time of being champions of Europe, I feel them getting that that price from Sheffield United, that had a major part in it. I agree what Kes said, that Nketiah should be considered, or his price tag should be around a 20 mil figure. Now, beginning of this season just gone, that was the case. But unfortunately, where he was given chances this season and he didn't produce the goods, unfortunately, that had a major effect or a downfall or a depreciation in his price tag. So this season or this summer, I feel 10 to 15 mil, that would be a steal, and I'll bite your hand off for it. But if we can utilize him or add him into a potential signing, so player plus cash for someone like Bissouma, I think that would be a very smart business decision. So let's do that. So like, if we can't directly sell players in order to make the funds, and then for us to go on the back of that and make signings to bring in, let's use our existing players who are surplus to requirements, and let's make them part of the deal in order to bring in a signing.
Yo, is this true? Guys, is it true that Ruben Neves is higher on the pecking order than Bissouma?
No one knows. No, nobody knows. Again, and this is what I'm saying. People are just, because Romano gets one or two things right, everybody's going to believe everything he says. I'm not believing anything until we see it actually take place. Nobody knows what Arsenal's business is. Nobody knows who our targets are, except from Edu and Arteta. And this is what annoys me. I don't trust either of those two to get it right. Yet the people who tell me to trust them are the same people not trusting them to get it right. They're believing fake rumors and stuff. But I just want to say one quick thing with the Nketiah thing.
Yeah.
And the whole Brewster and Solanke as well. We all remember that deal and how ludicrous that was.
Yeah.
What you have to remember now is, after those two deals and how stupidly expensive those two players signed for their new clubs were, and how they both flopped, why in the world would any other club in the world risk the same thing again? It's happened twice. It's failed twice. No club's going to do that again. No club's going to spend stupid money on a player like Nketiah, Brewster, Solanke, because they've seen it happen twice and it's failed both times. So Arsenal fans need to get over that. The Brewster thing won't happen ever again, or for at least a long, long time. So just get rid of him for 10, 15 mil, or use him in the Bissouma swap deal and move on.
Okay, so unfortunately, we're now going to have to relive the whole Buendia situation. But before everyone goes on, I haven't heard Kesh's take on the whole Buendia thing. Kesh, what do you got to say about that? It's mad, no?
Listen, there seems to not be. I know I see a lot of fans saying, "Oh, the window isn't open yet. No one knows who Arsenal's going for." Don't seem that Buendia was a #1 target. I agree with that. It's clearly Odegaard that they do want, but the fact that Madrid's saying 50 mil has obviously changed Arsenal's mind. Arsenal said, "Listen, all right, cool. Use the next best that we got on our list, Buendia. Cool. You've got to be decisive. If you're saying that that's the next man on your list, you've got to be willing to pay what the club's asking for." That was my take on it. Fair enough. Villa's gone and did whatever they've done. They've offered more money. Well, all the money from what I've seen, they've offered up front. Plus a 10 mil sell-on clause. Obviously, in my head, I'm thinking, come on, Arsenal, man. Extra 5 mil would have done it. Cool. I understand fans are saying We need to stop buying players who are not worth their value. I get that. Totally get that. Someone's pointed out to me, it was a Liverpool fan actually, that maybe it was the 10% sell-on that sold it for Villa. Because as a big club, if you put yourself a big clubs don't do that. They don't put sell-on clause in the deal. Why would Arsenal, Man United, Man City, teams like that say, okay, we'll agree to give you 10%? It doesn't make sense. I don't know, innit? As I said, Bendia, he wasn't my first on my options. He wouldn't be. But the players that I want Arsenal to sign in that position, we're not being linked to. So if we're being linked to him, man, I think he is a good player. I think a lot of people downplaying his ability. I think the player has got real ability. Don't look at him and say, oh, it's championship. If you look at the numbers he was putting up, fair enough, those chances was not converted. That's not his problem. His job is to assist. It's whoever falls on the end of those chances. They don't take that. What can he do? We had this problem with Ozil in Leicester, the season that Leicester won it, when Giroud didn't take the chances. That wasn't exactly Ozil's fault.
Yeah.
The player, that's his job. That's his main job, to create. He had 70 big chances. He was, what, third or second in the list behind KDB. He had Grealish on there. I think he had Maddison on there. He was competing with the likes of Jack Grealish and Maddison. You can only imagine if Villa goes on to have another good season like what they had this season, the numbers that you'll put up then.
You're on mute, bro.
Yeah, that's facts. Honestly, that's facts. But yo, people in the chat, do me a favor, submit your points and what you think about this. Also, we'll bring it up. We'll put it up on the screen, and if it really catches my eye, I'm gonna read it out for you guys. But first things first, I have one thing that I seen here. Aston Villa is more favorable, especially with Emi being there, Emi Martinez. Now, do you guys feel like Aston Villa is a more favorable club? Because Kesh, a lot of people have been saying this. Gunnar X, a lot of people have been saying Aston Villa are a more favorable proposition for a player who is his age, who is looking to possibly progress in his career and get a further move. And before I throw it over to you guys, I'm gonna go to Gunnar Express, and people in the chat, do me a favor. Let's get to at least 70 likes. Go ahead, Gunnar Express.
Yeah, get the likes up, people. But you already know my thoughts. Villa's not a more favourable location. You could argue that, yes, their club has more ambition. Yes, you know, some people will say they have a better manager, whether you want to take that into say or whatever, but we would pay more money to Buendia. And a lot of footballers care about money, and they should do, because it's their job. But
they have a better manager.
Exactly, and I personally agree with that, but I don't, you know, players, that's not something players will look at, let's be honest. That's not the first thing they look at. From what Chris Wheatley said, whether you want to believe it or not, again, I don't really believe anything that anyone says, but he said that the main reason why he chose Villa over Arsenal is because of Buendia. They have because of Martinez. They have the same agent. So in terms of Villa getting the deal done, it was swift, easy. It was virtually done straight away. It was that easy to do. And this is why I say we should never have sold Martinez, because he had those Argentinian links, and there's a lot of good Argentinian young players out there. And also, I do still think he's a better goalkeeper than Leno. But at the end of the day, Martinez is always going to be a pulling force, because I don't know. But Martinez is always going to be a pulling force. They're both internationals for Argentina. They're very good friends. We've seen the pictures that Martinez put out yesterday with them two playing pool, and it was always going to happen. Like we do it all the time. Arsenal fans do it all the time. We saw it with Odegaard and Haaland, and Odegaard and Sander Berge, and it's what happens, bro. Like footballers who are friends, international teammates, they're always going to do this. And yeah, he will have been a pulling power, but it still doesn't mean that Arsenal's less favourable. That's waffle.
Yo, we lost Gunnar King. I don't know what happened, but yo, Nitish, someone was asking for you in the comment section. Man said, bring the Indian guy in. And we got Lisa. Lisa, how you doing?
I'm good. How's everyone going?
Yeah. Let me ask you guys about the whole Buendia debacle.
Good.
Because I didn't get your take on it, Lisa. What did you think of the whole debacle?
So I woke up from a nap when everything was kind of happening. So I woke up in like shocked kind of thing. But I think because you have to take into effect, if you hear noises in the back, that's just my little brother. So mind you guys.
Fine.
I think you have to be level-headed, even though this is Arsenal we're talking about. Yeah, the transfer window hasn't opened in any shape or form, and I think that there's so much pressure heading on the Cronky's head, like how they said they're gonna back Arteta, the Super League, how we finished 8th. So if they don't deliver by the end of the window, you know how we are going to be, because we're not going to fall for that fall again, how they're not going to do anything at the end of the window. We get a shiny, what's called superstar, and we're all kind of like content for a bit, and then the season starts and everyone's saying what's going on kind of thing. So I think the fans kind of caught up to that. But my take is, I know the transfer window is going to be open for 3 months. I'm not really going to be emotional. I'm not going to be anything, because they've just kind of disappointed me for a really long period of time. I'm not going there with any expectation. So if I'm seeing people linked with other players, I'm not even going to do anything until the end of the transfer window. Then I'll make my judgment. But with the player that's gone to Aston Villa, I think if we really wanted him, if that's Arteta saying this is the player I want, I kind of would. I'm going on a limb here, but I think that we would have paid that money if he's going to be a main starter or have an impact on our first team. I truly believe that we would have got him. But if he was our first target and Edu didn't do the job that he was meant to, then that's another red flag from our end. But if that's not our first target, who is? Because he's a great player. I would have loved for him to be in our first team. But if we get someone that has like-to-like quality or even better, I'm not going to complain or anything like that. So we just kind of have to wait until we see who's going in and who's coming out.
Yo, Kesh, you're next. Same thing. You same thoughts basically. You don't think he's our number 1 target, and you're not too fussed about us moving on.
Listen, as I said, I know who I want, but my wants and the club wants is 2 total different things. We're at the opposite end. Like, I've shown you the players that I feel will come in and make an impact in that number 10 position.
You have a whole list.
But the club obviously looking at different. They're looking at value for money as well. It's obvious.
They're looking at ODEGAARD.
What the problem I got with the way we do deals and things like that is, we as a club should be able to present a list of players. A list of players that a manager wouldn't even have to think twice about. It's like, all 3 of them's quality, get me any of them. I'm not complaining. But what we find ourselves in a situation where our finances has been mismanaged so badly over the last 8 to 10 years. And we get to a point where when we're negotiating, we're not willing to go that bit further. Whether our fans say Bendia is an average player, not worth 40 mil or whatever, that's another story. But we as a club tend to, if he's not valued at the price that we value him at, we're not going to go over that. They have the same thing with the Kante and the XHAKA deal. Agent wanted a bit more. They're not willing to cough up that bit more. We need to change the way we negotiate. We need to find a strategy. Even the signings that we make does not make sense, because with how much, I was speaking to someone, I can't remember his name, but we're talking about Arsenal is one of the only clubs in this league who still got so much money to pay for players that we previously bought. So there's lots of money that needs to be put aside for those deals. And with the way we negotiate and the players we sign, when we do then sell them on or we end up losing them for free, we're not making any money back. So we're going to be constantly stuck in this cycle where we're not willing to overspend. Yes, we've done it with Pepe, but that won't happen for a very long time. And those are the yes, the Pepe deal went wrong, but those are the level of signings we need to be spending. If we're not going to be doing it shrewd, we need to be buying talents for a good price with an high ceiling. So when we do sell them on, we know that the money's coming in and we're going to be benefiting from it financially.
All right, bless. Now, before we go any further, guys, do me a favor, smash that like button. We've gotten over 80 likes already. Get us to at least 100. That would be great. And big up to everybody in the chat. We already have over 260 people. If you have a question, please put the letter Q in capital in front of your sentence, and then I can pick it out, because it's kind of hard to figure out what is a sentence and what is or a statement and what is just a joke. Now we got Donnie Aaron. You said Aston Villa were more likely to attract him. You said they were a better proposition. Explain. You're muted.
Oh,
Go ahead. No, go
There we
ahead.
go.
Go ahead.
yeah, there we go. The evidence is there to see, my friend. Aston Villa they were in there. They wanted to do the business. Buendia didn't want to wait. He wants to go for it. The bottom line is, no matter if Arsenal fans want to accept this or not, the bottom line is Buendia rejected Arsenal in favour of a move to Aston Villa. They didn't wait for a second bid from Arsenal. He wants to go to Aston Villa. And you know what? From a neutral perspective, you've got to give credit to Aston Villa, because I saw in the last hour, Aston Villa have bidded 30 million for Ward-Prowse now and they're prepared to pay up to 40 million. They're doing business. They're doing bare business. And Ward-Prowse could be the next one to go to Aston Villa. I'm not lying. Cash, you tweeted it in the last hour. Aston Villa prepared to have bid 30 million for Southampton's James Ward-Prowse. Villa are prepared to pay up to 40 million for the England international. They are doing so much good business. If you keep Jack Grealish, you bring in Ward-Prowse, you bring in Buendia, you keep all your top players. I'm telling you, Aston Villa are going to be the dark horses for Europe next season. With Arsenal, I'm seeing disillusion. I'm seeing, not putting in the right bids at the right time, faffing about in the transfer market, not getting deals done on the wire. I've seen many things as a neutral fan over the years. The £1 extra for Luis Suarez. The Lamar deal. There's the whole thing a few years ago where a Bollywood actress nearly slipped out on a live stream that they'd signed someone, and people were saying it's Thomas Lamar, and and then it didn't end up happening. And then obviously the whole thing with Buendia and Martinez, obviously I think will be one of the driving forces behind this. But Agent Emmy, and Arsenal doesn't feel like Arsenal Football Club. It feels like Emirates Stadium FC. Like Tottenham Hotspur is Tottenham Hotspur Stadium FC, Arsenal are Emirates Stadium FC, because all they care about is sponsorships and making the money off the field. As long as they employ the shit on the field. And you know what? I don't think there can be a St. Totteridge Day next season, because Tottenham have got no manager. They're forcing fans to pay 60 quid. They're a stadium football club. Arsenal are a stadium football club, not spending money on the field, not improving on the field, doing sponsorships off the field, and that's where the money's coming from. Unfortunately, they're both as bad as each other, and I can only see both of them finishing mid-table next season unless they surprise me. Neves, I don't think it's going to come, and I think Bissouma's going to Liverpool or someone else, because I think the same thing will happen again. Bissouma will want to go to Arsenal. Arsenal put in a shit bid. Bissouma doesn't want to wait. He wants to get the move done and dusted so we can focus on the football. And he'll go to somewhere else, whether that's Liverpool or somewhere else.
Wow.
Look at Wijnaldum. Look at the Wijnaldum deal. It was all up to Barcelona. And then PSG, bam, hijack, get in there, get the bid, get Wijnaldum off of Barcelona. They've bloody done that. Wijnaldum's now going to PSG because they hyped that fucking deal.
I don't think you can compare the Barcelona deal to this, because
no. The reason why I compare it is because PSG have gone in there and they've hijacked that deal straight away. Arsenal, I've not seen Arsenal when they want a player. When they were going to get Luis Suarez, apart from the extra £1, I didn't see them hijacking that £1 extra to go with an extra million or two. I didn't see them going in for Thomas Lamar when it looked like it wasn't happening now.
With context, though, if Barca really want Ronaldo, they'll get him. If you look at what Barca's doing, Barca is making every player they sign come in on the low wages than they've ever been on before. PSG offered double what Barca offered. Of course, it's going to go PSG.
If Barcelona really wants him, but they let him go to PSG, then they're making the same mistakes that Arsenal are making.
No, but they don't. No, but they might offer options that they see more value in, rather than going and spending and giving Ronaldo ludicrous amount of money. Like, he's not going to be a significant part of that midfield for them to do that.
Yeah, I get that.
Let me just answer some of these questions. Madison at Leicester. I don't think Madison will leave Leicester to come to Arsenal. No. Do you think we're going to sign somebody? Yes, we will sign somebody, but I don't know who. Where do you think Arsenal will finish next season? We have to wait until after the window. What do you guys think do you want Neves? I personally want Neves. Let me ask everybody here. Kesh, Neves, yes or no?
I'm gonna say it again. Arsenal need, depending on what Mikel Arteta is looking to do, whether he's going to stick with the number 10 or he's going to go to a midfield 3, Arsenal need 2 to 3 midfielders anyway. So if you're going to get Neves, you're still going to have to get a Bissouma. And this is my problem. I don't feel that these lot know what they're doing. Obviously, the window hasn't opened yet. So maybe once the window opens, we'll get a bit more clarity of the targets that we're trying to chase.
No, I feel this Navas deal is... Sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Nitish.
Yeah, I was saying this Navas deal is more to do with selling Granit Xhaka, get in Navas, and then focus on selling Granit Xhaka. Because if you have to sell Granit Xhaka, you need someone there. And if the Bissouma deal is going to take more time than what is expected initially, they are trying to get in a player who will readily come to Arsenal. I think Navas wants to move because Nuno is leaving. So I think this is just to get in a Xhaka replacement before we sell him.
And sorry to point out, I just want to include.
Go ahead.
I think that we have to take into account, us as Arsenal, we're really secretive right now. We don't know the players are coming in. We don't know the links unless, like, most of the journalists kind of say the tipping point, okay, it's done now. This is who we're getting. Because at the end of the day, we're all clueless until the players are actually there and linked or holding up the shirt. Because that's one thing. Because, like, we can kind of moan, we can be emotional, but the club's saying, look, just sit there, be quiet, because I kid you not, I don't know who my top target is. I don't know the midfielders are going other than Bissouma. That's one thing. So we're really secretive kind of thing. As much as we want us to progress and getting the deals done real quick so we can start pre-season together, starting the next season on a high note, it's just we don't know. Everything's behind closed door and it's out of our hands kind of thing.
Yeah, guys, I don't generally trust the board to do anything. So when Mansour Ahmed is sending a super chat saying, do you trust the rumors after the Buendia deal? Do you trust the board? Do you trust them getting deals over the line? ? I don't trust them to get deals over the line. I don't trust them to get our first targets. I don't trust them to get our second targets. I trust them to do one thing, and that's mess up the business that we have going, because we don't have a proper DOF that's experienced, that's done this job before. We don't have proper people in the back room that have done this before. We don't have a football club that's had continuity and consistency from the players, coaching staff, and board directors. And there's been mismanagement for years and years on end. There has been only 2 windows back to back where we've had the same people in every position. Every season since Arsene Wenger was relieved of his duties or he resigned, we have had changeover after changeover after changeover, from Vinay, Edu, Raul, from Sven Mislintat, Gazidis, Wenger, Emery, Arteta, and now we have Richard Garland coming in. Every year, we just have another piece to the puzzle, and it gives you no direction as a club because you have more voices in that back room. And it's
one thing I would say though, and it seems to me that Arsenal is more willing to go for the clubs who are not necessarily going to take all the money up front. Like if you look at Liverpool last year when they were chasing Sarr from Watford wanted the money up front, the 40 mil. They then went to get Jota. They only paid I think 10 mil up front or something like that. So I think Arsenal's looking to do the exact same thing. They're going to target a Neves who they know they can probably pay a bit part there. Then they might go and get a Team Hour from Leon who's in financial difficulties. You know, they're apparently rumored to want 30 mil. So I think that's the strategy that they're going to go for. As I said, I saw the Bendia thing and I reacted to however I reacted to it. And I just told myself, listen, for this transfer window, I'm just going to sit back because when it comes to Arsenal, history tends to repeat itself when it comes to summer windows. So the best thing to do, all these ITKs on Twitter, they ever pay no mind to them. The ones that I was talking about, when Diaz deal over the line, listen, block, delete, let them go. They clearly don't know fuck all, and just sit this one out and wait and see how they do. After the windows close, that's where you're going to feel the wrath of the Arsenal fans, because there's no way after coming out and said, listen, we're sorry about Super League, we're going to back the manager this year. There's no way going back after that. That's it.
The thing is, can I just respond to that quickly? Yeah, can I just can I just say, Kez is right. You know, in terms of going for those kind of deals. Yeah, like I do perceive them to be right. I do think that what Wendy is ending up going for up front is a lot of money. But to tie it into that question about the board and my mistrust of them is where the financial constraints are constantly overruling the quality of player that we are going for. Now, we can obviously sit down and talk about players whose quality is so undeniable. To go with, say, Premier League proven experience, where you have to pay that premium to get the player that has both the quality and the experience of performing in this league, that this board just don't want to, like, they want to put a ceiling on those players, like, all the time. And I think that there has to be some times where you break rank, where indeed, like, going for someone like, say, Bissouma, if Brighton say they want 30 million up front for him and the rest in add-ons, you know, like, he's proven his quality at this level in this league. You just do those things, you know what I mean? Like, and I think where I don't trust the board is where, if you look at the Pepe transfer, instead of getting Zaha that season, we went for Pepe, and what it came down to wasn't a difference in quality. It was the fact that Lille wanted less of the money up front. Now, look, I love Pepe, by the way. It has taken him a long time to settle, and I've never lost belief in the fact that Pepe could settle. But it's clear that in that transfer, like, at that time, Zaha could have been looked at as a better option, given that he has proven in this league. But we didn't want to pay the premium that Crystal Palace put as a result of him proving himself in this league. I just think we are, in terms of my mistrust in the board, that is a major factor in my mistrust towards them. I think they do look at it from that angle way too much and way too quickly.
Just want to add,
This is next, guys. Let me just go.
yeah, just want to add one thing is that the Arsenal board is more interested in deals which suit them and how they want to work. Like, because there is an entire French market open for players to be sold this time. They know that there are French clubs desperate for money, and they can probably go and get 2 to 3 quality players from France if they don't get their the targets from the Premier League. So that is why Norwich, they sent out 2 bids. In fact, both were rejected. One was 30, one was 35 million. Both got rejected because of the conditions. They had put in some add-ons based on what they would achieve this season, and Norwich said a straight no. We don't want to give you these conditions because you're not going to achieve them. And that is the reason why Norwich has gone with Aston Villa, who's ready to pay more money up front. So, but the fans need to understand the situation in countries like France right now is bad, and we can get 2 or 3 quality players from there, who may not be as bad as some of them are saying them to be. Like last season, everyone was saying we want OR. This season, everyone is saying OR. We don't want him. He's so bad now. All of a sudden, in 6 months or 12 months, that everyone is saying that we don't want him anymore.
Yeah, they're weird.
Yeah.
It's the same as the
Neves. Agree, but I think sorry.
It's the same as the Neves deal. It was only a year or 2 ago, like I said, where fans were saying this guy is great. Like, this guy can move to a Man United, can move to a bigger team. Now all of a sudden, because Wolves had a terrible season, no one wants him. Everyone's overlooking his quality.
Yeah.
Can I just chip in there?
Just before you go, Azan, I'm just gonna have to rotate the panel. Thank you for coming on, Aaron. Thank you for coming on, Gunnar King. I'm just gonna rotate you guys out. Appreciate you guys coming on. And let me just go to Azan. Azan, what were you gonna say?
Yeah. So just on what Lisa pointed out about, you know, what's going on at ownership and boardroom level, where everything is going on behind closed doors, and even Gunnar King, you know, as a fan base, our distrust in the guidance of the boardroom and the ownership, and where even Kesh pointed out, like, look, you know, these ITKs, we as a fan base have to pay no mind to these people because it's just all about a guessing game. But what I do expect from my club or our club, from the owners or the board, is more transparency. Now, I haven't watched the video, but it's come to my attention on the back of Man City's defeat in the Champions League. Their chairman, Khaldun Al Mubarak, he has given an interview on, like, what are the ambitions going forward after their loss in the Champions League final. Now, I haven't watched the video, so I can't.
I have, yeah.
I can't give you guys any quotes or anything. But the point I'm trying to make is, now, yes, the transfer window isn't opened, and without it being open, us being linked to this Emi Buendia, and then our potential interest collapsing and Aston Villa hijacking the deal. This shows that I'm not saying all us on the panel or you, Egal, or anybody in the chat, but a certain section of the fan base are losing their heads right now, right? So we need some clarity and transparency from the board. Like, I'm not asking for them to come out and say, look, we've identified player A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? But they need to be clear and come out with information on what their plans are, who they're identifying as players, not specifically by name, but positions and how many players, and what is the plan going forward? Because all this hush-hush, all these doors that are closed, and allowing all these ITKs to kind of like dictate what is our interest and what is not healthy for our fan base. So we need them to come out and give an interview and like reassure us that whatever they're planning is going to be done. And if it's not, come end of the window, the fingers have to be, look, we all know the ownership's the problem, but the fingers would have to be pointed at the board, specifically Vinay and Edu, because these are the people that we're trusting to do the job. And if they fail to do so, they have to be held to account.
Yeah. I'll just summarize what the city chairman said in a short brief. He said that like he was disappointed about the final, but that would not affect us in any shape or form for us to be ambitious for the next window. He said that we have qualities on the bench.
Oh, you cut out there, Lisa.
At the end of the day, our main achievement is to hold that Champions League Cup. In order for us to improve, we're going to buy the best quality players, because there's no point of stopping thinking that you're successful now, but the way football has evolved, I don't want that. I want us to kind of progress for years and years of years and make our own history, like something around that brief.
Okay, so let's just go quick synopsis before we go into the final segment. These are stories that have come up, and I want to ask you guys if they're rubbish or if they're true, and if you believe them or if not. So thumbs up if you believe it, thumbs down if you don't believe it. So first story is Osman Edouard to Leicester, and apparently Arsenal have missed out on him. I personally don't believe that we were actually ever after him. If we were, we would have probably gotten the deal done or maybe not have gotten the deal done, but we would have heard more about it. Do you believe that we were actually interested in this guy?
I think he is one of the options on the list, but it's totally down to whether Lacazette stays or goes. At the moment, we don't know if he's staying or not. I think what I've read is that Edu's trying to speed up the process, tell him that he needs to make a decision as soon as possible.
Yeah. Okay. So, Cash, for you, it is true, but you're saying you don't think we were actually ever made a bid.
No, we haven't put a bid in now.
Okay. Gunnar Express, same thing.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I keep saying this to people: if he chooses Leicester over Arsenal, it's not because they're a bigger club or they have more ambition, even though they do have more ambition. But for me, the main reason why he choose them is Brendan Rodgers. He played under him at Celtic when they were very successful. He was very successful as a player. So for him, and in his mind, I can either go to Arsenal with a new manager, new team, and maybe flop, or I can go to Leicester with my old manager who helped me succeed. So if I was him, I'd choose Leicester, because Vardy's aging. Again, you're with your old manager who you succeeded under. So again, my personal opinion, I'd rather have Tony. I think Tony should be the main option. I don't think he is, but I think he should be. But yeah, I'm not too annoyed if we miss out on him.
So you think it's real, but we never actually missed out on him because we never actually made an attempt.
Again, I think we were, like Kesh said, I think we were interested. I definitely think he's on the list, but like, I think it all comes down to Lacazette and Aubameyang. Are they leaving? Are they staying? And again, for me, there's not maybe better options for the price, but there's options out there that can still fill the same role. And again, for me, Tony's the one. But
All right. Next, I'll go to you, Lisa. Lisa, are you upset that we're missing out on him and he's going to Leicester, or you think it's just this is what happens? Now we just accept it and move on.
I think it's a bit of both. If there was actual genuine interest that this is the player that we want, then I would be disappointed. But I think at the end of the day, they might be looking to reduce our squad, because our squad is kind of like a lot in the term. So unless, I'm actually not too mad about it, kind of thing.
All right, Realize, you upset about this, or you're
Yeah,
okay?
same thing. I'm not mad at it. We're probably interested. We're probably inquired for him, but we didn't go in for him. I think this deal would depend if Lacazette actually left, but I don't know for Lacazette's sake, so I'm not disappointed.
All right. Next. Why do I keep muting myself? Next story, guys, we're gonna talk about this is a mad one. So I'm gonna start with the guys that hasn't gone yet. Nitish, Martin Odegaard is the #1 target for Arsenal this transfer window, supposedly. This is not.
Yeah.
This is coming from what's his name? Chris? Is it Chris Wheatley?
Wheatley, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Chris Wheatley said Martin Odegaard is the main focus for Arsenal. Is that a bad thing?
Yes.
This story came out 2 weeks ago, and when I posted it out, people were saying no, Buendia is our first target. But the thing is, we need a proper cam to back up Emil Smith-Rowe, because if he doesn't perform like he did this season, we need a creative player who can create more. And Smith-Rowe has one good ability, that he can also score goals. But we want someone to play those through balls, which Smith-Rowe I don't see doing that often. He has good ability to shut defenses down and press and score goals, but I think he still not has that through ball that we need from our cam. So Odegaard, he has a high ceiling. I would take him, but the price is too high that Real Madrid is asking. That is the only problem.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Go ahead then, Kesh.
Listen, I agree. Like, I remember in January when we been linked with him, I said, listen, we could get him on the loan. He's a player with a lot of room to grow. He's got a very high ceiling. The problem is, with the money that Madrid is trying to demand, I wouldn't pay that. The most I'll pay for him is about 30, 35 to 40. And obviously not all up front. But if you can get him on loan again, then why not?
Thoughts on Koundé? He costs too much money. We're never going to get him. I'm sorry. And also, why would he come to Arsenal when he knows that there's a Euros, that he's already in the French national team? He comes to Arsenal, the World Cup's around the corner, he plays bad, he doesn't make the national team, and he's only going to have himself to blame. And also, he's leaving a team that's in Champions League football in Sevilla. It makes no sense. Now, going back to the Odegaard thing, Azan, #1 target, Odegaard, on loan. Is it? Make sense?
Me personally, I'm not in favor of us making him as a permanent signing. I'm open to have him again on loan for another season, only on the basis if the loan is a loan signing with an option to buy, and not allowing Real Madrid to dictate the terms by making it a loan deal with an obligation to buy. I don't want us to be out-muscled by the selling club of the player that we're interested in. So at the end of the day, the people in charge making these major decisions in terms of bringing in the players, they need to be smart and not be pressured and bullied into a commitment where we just bow down and allow the selling club or the parent club to dictate the terms. So I'll be open for it to be a loan signing and nothing more.
Nice. Also, thoughts on Matheus Pereira? I would take him. 15 million. I would take him. Honestly, he would be an upgrade on what we have as our attacking options. But it looks like we're going to hold on to Joe Willock, and we're going to be trying to get some other higher profile players than Matheus Pereira. I don't think we've actually even looked at him. Now, before I go to you, Realist, I know your thoughts on Odegaard. You don't think he's up to scratch. So if he was to be loaned out to us again, as our number one target, just as a loan, and we're going to look at fixing up the other areas. Does that make sense to you?
Personally, I'd be open to a loan with an option to buy, non obligation. I'm going to echo everything that Aslan said. I wouldn't be open to signing him permanently, but if we would gain back on a loan, that would be fine. In terms of the other areas, we need to strengthen other areas. I think Cam is not a priority position, if you understand what I mean. I would rather go for a central midfielder, Bissouma priority. But from what I'm gathering from other journalists, we're going for more of a deep line playmaker than an actual defensive midfielder for Partey.
Okay, and beyond the post, Lisa,
Yeah.
Guna Express, Cash. Just quickly touch on this before we move on to Leno. Are you guys okay with a loan?
Yeah,
If
I'm okay with it.
if it means we have an obligation to buy, and we're not, and it's not like it's no obligation to buy, and we have the power of choosing if we want them or not. Are you guys okay with that?
100%. I
Okay,
think
Go
I
ahead.
think one of the, sorry to interrupt. I think one of the speakers said, if you go in there feeling that you're desperate and you need the players, that's when you get your pants pulled down. So if you come up there, look, we would like the player, but at the end of the day, we got other fields, we got other players to kind of watch and look. Like, it'd be nice to have him, but there's no way that they could kind of dictate and tell us what to do, kind of thing.
Yeah, and guys, there's over 500 people in the chat. Can you guys get us at least over 200 likes? That would be amazing. Nitish, you're gonna say something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, if we can replicate what we did in the second half of last season throughout the next season, we will end up in a good position in the league table. All we have to do is try to keep those players, add a few more, and just try to replicate the performances and the level of football that we maintained in the second half of last season. That means keep Odegaard on the loan, no worries, even if he's there. Get in a Bissouma next to Partey and try to keep our football as simple as we kept in the second half of the season.
Okay, and Gunnar Express, Nitish, and Kesh, do you guys have anything to add on this before we move on to Leno?
The problem with that though is, like, in order to replicate what we've done in the second half of the season, we need to get all of our business done as early as possible. If you look at the last 2 to 3 seasons, summer transfer windows, we always get our deals done in the last few minutes, like last few weeks, and that's not good enough. Like, a coach needs those players in to start bedding in his ideas and things like that, and to get that feel good factor going into the season, rather than someone like Partey arriving in the final weeks. It doesn't make any sense to me.
See, last season was a total anomaly because the transfer window crossed the first month of the season in itself. So we'd never had any preseason, but this time we have a chance. That is why even in Nicolas Pepe's first season, I did not blame him too much because he did not get a preseason. He just joined the team before the start of the season. But this season, I wanted more from him. So in a similar way, if players are brought in like in the first month heading towards the second, and they get at least 2 or 3 games or the Emirates Cup, then there can be no complaints that these guys got a preseason and they should be firing.
Lisa, is it your birthday?
Sorry?
Is it your birthday? Whose birthday is it?
Oh, it's not my birthday. I'm a February child, so I don't know.
Who's Monster talking about? I'm like, what? Your Monster just talking random. Oh, he's talking about the Sims. This guy. Okay. Yo, Gunnar Express. I'm gonna move on to Leno, and I'm gonna throw it to you first. Leno is wanted by several clubs. Apparently, he's a very wanted man by several clubs. Does this surprise you?
Yeah, I'm surprised that anybody actually wants him because he's a very poor goalkeeper. Let's be honest. He can, yeah, he's a great shot stopper, but we're not. Again, and some Arsenal fans especially need to get this up their heads. We're not playing in the 1900s anymore. We're not playing in the early 2000s. Players have to adapt. Example, fullbacks are now, they need to have more attacking threat, which is why I'm not a big fan of the likes of, even when Jenkinson was here. I know he was a trash player, but he never fit our style, which is attacking right backs. But Leno's the same thing. Goalkeepers nowadays need to create. We've seen that with Ederson. He got a few assists this season. They need to be able to kick the ball long. They need to be able to do it short. They need to be quick, have reactions. They need to do more. Goalkeeping's more difficult than it ever has been. Leno hasn't adapted. He's too old to learn how to do these things. So go and get someone new. But for me, a team that'll buy him, it'll be someone like a Hertha Berlin. a Hoffenheim, like a very low-end Bundesliga team, or possibly some Serie A teams like a Torino. Again, very low-end teams, and you're not going to get much money from them because they don't have the money to spend. So 20, 15 million is probably all you're really going to get. So again, do the club see it as worth it? Do they keep him around for another season and try and up his value? Or
Yeah,
I think,
I'm just gonna rotate the panel. Natish, thanks for coming on. I'm just gonna let some other people jump on. Rilis, same thing, and Azan, same thing. You guys are always here. Thanks, guys, for coming on. I'm just gonna let some other guys come on, and we got Glenn, Arteka, and Dean here. But Kesh, you're gonna go. What were you gonna say?
I'm saying 20 mil isn't a bad return on Leno. What we paid 25 for him, he hasn't quite worked out the way we would have liked it to be for the previous two managers based on how they want to play football. So you can take that 20 mil and you can reinvest it. And if you're getting Onana, who for me, I wouldn't say he's far off what Leno is. I think they're pretty much just at the same level. But the benefit is that Onana can play with his feet. And the way Arsenal play, that contributes a lot. With Leno, he tends to not read the triggers of when the other team's pressing, and you've got to learn how to read the triggers, because that's when you can open up the play and go on the attack. So you take it. If you're getting on for what, 2 mil, they're saying 6 mil minimum, you can't go wrong with that.
So I want to add, for me, if 20 mil comes for Leno, I would 100% take it. But it's who's going to be playing, because if Onana is like our first goalkeeper choice, if the whole hearing thing works out to our favor, he's going to actually start playing for us in October. So when the season starts,
I heard it was in August.
Oh, it's okay. That's a lot closer then, But so within that meantime, would you get Ryan, our second goalkeeper, just to be playing now and then? It's like, I don't want to kind of go on a limb to like, you know what, if we lose a couple of points, I don't mind, because our goalkeeper is going to be in there kind of thing. So if they have a plan, if Leno goes, who's going to be in goals for those couple of weeks, and then get Onana in, then I 100% hold my head up kind of thing. It's just we have so many different situations in.
Is Onana adequate replacement?
Pardon?
Is Onana adequate replacement?
Yeah.
100%. I think he suits us.
There's no difference between both.
No, there's no difference.
Leno, man.
Who said they want Leno?
Yeah, I want Leno.
Why?
Great keeper. He's a
Explain.
great keeper. Last season he was so good, and even this season, he's made few mistakes.
You'll never sing that. You'll never sing that.
But if you say Onana is young and he has not played football for so much time, so I think we should keep Leno for at least 1 more year.
So then what, lose money on him? Come on, man.
No way, bro. You should go, man. You should go.
And to add, as much as you can keep saying that Leno helped us the season before, I definitely appreciate that kind of thing. But I don't want that feeling anymore. If we actually want to move on and be a top club and actually hit ambition, we can't have those attached feelings like, oh, he's just having a bad season, but he was so good last season. Just wait a bit until this complete kind of thing.
Thank you.
I agree.
But how do we know that Onana will be good in the Premier League? We don't know that, no. So
we don't know that. But what we know
he said, how do we know Onana is going to be good in the Premier League?
No, we don't know. It's a gamble.
It's a big gamble.
You don't know.
But one thing that you can
He's done in the Champions League.
100%. That's a factor. But you have to
but
account the way.
But Premier League is different.
No, I just want to state, the way Arteta wants the goalkeepers to play, Leno 100% hands us that much. Because I can give you an example, the West Ham game, the 3-0 Arteta wanted him to play at the back, kick the ball, anything like that. But I think the pressure of him to do that, he just kicked the ball long, and the other team are taller. They got the ball first hand, so the ball's just gone back up and down, up and down, up and down. And I do not want that in any shape or form. As I said, if you want to move on to that next step, the main goalkeeper and how he plays is kind of a system that links up all together.
Absolutely, I agree. I want to add to that, Egal. Also, this guy is careless, Leno. If, for example, Mendy, the guy who plays for Chelsea. The keeper of Chelsea. People were doubting, will he play well in the Premier League also? Look what he did now. Look what he's doing.
So for me, if Onana comes, he will do well for me. This guy is lazy, Leno. He has to go for me.
Oh
Okay.
man, you cannot say that. He's been
All
so
right.
good for us.
So yo, I just want a quick answer from everyone. If you guys can do that, we've already gone through explanations. So I know Gunnar Express doesn't want him. Onana is your option, Kesh, to replace Leno, correct?
I wouldn't say he's my option. I think the club could be looking a bit more extensively for a keeper, but for the value that you're getting him from, he's on the same level as Leno. It makes no difference you having him or Leno. At the end of the day, the way we want to play, the way he distributes and everything will impact our play. We'll probably get more goals going forward. Obviously, I understand that his shot stopping is great, but neither is Leno. So what's there to complain about?
Okay. And then Gunnar Express, we already know his take. Lisa, I know your take. I'm gonna ask Glenn. Glenn, what's your take on the Leno situation?
Onana, 100%. Like being a top goalkeeper, it's like Onana, like in the Dutch league, being a top goalkeeper, he's not having to face shots all the time. It's about having that concentration that when maybe you only have to make one good save, but Onana does that. He's done in the Champions League, he's done in the Dutch league, and he's better with the ball at his feet. He played in La Masia, like he's better at the ball at his feet. He can do what Arteta wants to do, which play off in the back, which Leno can't do. Leno slows the game down so much.
Yo, you guys seen this? This guy's always trolling me. I timed out the guy because he was saying some crazy shit, not because he was calling me Peng. Anyways, moving on. Okay, so enough about Muhdin. You're saying Leno is trash, right? So
Leno is trash, bro. Trash, yes.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Artekas, you're saying Leno's good. You want to keep him?
Yeah. I would like to say that, of course, the one season where Ajax performed very well, they were in Champions League. But last 2 seasons, they were in Europa League. They did not do very well, if you remember.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
I think that season they had De Jong, De Ligt and all. So that was an exceptional season, but you have to even look at last 2 seasons.
The next story is absolutely ridiculous. So Cash, you watch the La Liga. You seen Trippier performing. Would you take him at Arsenal?
Trippier?
Yeah.
It's so hard to judge. Yes, we can say he won the title, but our system is not going to be the same as Simeone's. Like, there's no way
It would
to
be a
judge.
swap deal, Cash. We're not getting
Yeah,
cash.
he would be better than Bellerin, so of course you take him.
Okay,
No,
so the
he's
question
not.
is, guys, first things first, do you believe the story? Because he's also linked to Manchester United. He's linked to every team in England. And a swap deal is just convenient to mention in the papers when it actually probably never actually was even going to happen. So do we think this is fake news or real news?
Fake news.
Gunnar Express.
Well, I said the other week or the other day, whenever, I would take him. I definitely think he's better than Bellerin. I think his defensive attributes are much better than Bellerin, and his attacking attributes as well are good. He was a big part of the Liga win. I don't care what anyone says. I initially think that he wasn't a big part of it, but when you look at it, when he was injured, they were losing a lot of games. As soon as he came back in the team, they started winning again. When when he was banned, whatever, for the gambling thing, and he's a big part of their team. But like Kesh said, you have no idea if he's going to fit the system, but he's better than Bellerin. And if it's a straight swap, yeah. But again, like I said, I think it's just trying to hype him up for the Man United fans. It's pushing that deal forward. It's United fans forcing the Glazers to be quick on it because they think we're going to sign him. It's all it is. It's agent talk and things like that. So I don't.
Okay, so fake news?
Yeah, fake news.
He said the same thing.
Yeah, fake news.
All right, Glenn.
I think he's definitely better than what's it called, Bellerin, but I don't think he's good for Arsenal because at Atletico they play a lot more defensive, so it stops his defensive frailties being exposed, and I think at Arsenal will be exposed.
Okay, so is it fake news or real news for you?
I think it's fake. I agree with Green Express is hype for the United deal.
All right, Muhdin.
Yeah, for me, same as the other guy said. It's fake news, yeah, but he's better than Bellerin. Yeah, he's better than Bellerin for sure.
All right, Artekas, fake news or real news?
Fake, bro. This is fake. It's fake news.
And then Josh, end us off. Fake news?
Fake.
All right. Now, moving on to the last part. This is the last part of the video. This is the part where we're going to be discussing what now that we're targeting Ruben Neves. What does this now mean for Bissouma? because if you haven't seen what was trending on Twitter today, Bissouma and Ruben Neves with the greater than emoji going either way, and some people are actually saying they'll take Neves over Bissouma, which is crazy. You have a lot of people saying they'd rather take Bissouma. So what are we saying, people? If you were to answer this question in the shortest way possible, for me,
wait, can I ask a question first?
Yeah.
What do Arsenal fans want? Do you want a more technical midfield trio or two, or do you want a more robust midfield, kind of similar to what Liverpool?
I want a more robust midfield, like similar to Liverpool.
For now, we have to get Ruben Neves. We have Thomas Partey. If they play together, I think it will be perfect for them to. Yeah.
Wow. So if you have a choice between Ruben Neves and Bissouma, Muhdin, you're taking Ruben Neves.
Neves. Yes, Neves.
Explain more.
Okay, I will explain. For if now we were not having Thomas Partey, for me, I would say Bissouma. But now we have, of course, Partey, right? So we take Neves. Neves will control the ball, and this guy will play. He will play box to box. Thomas Partey. So I will take Ruben Neves for me.
Wow. Anyone agree with him?
No.
Anyone second his opinion? Okay. Anybody here have a rebuttal or anything else to say? Because the question now has become, you can't sign two players in a similar that play in similar position on the pitch, even though we're getting rid of like 4 of them. It makes no sense. We can sign both of them, in my opinion.
Both of them. Easy.
It doesn't have to be one or the other. But if it is one or the other, I'm taking Bissouma 10 times over Ruben Neves. I'm sorry.
That's the thing, though. A lot of fans seem to underplay what Bissouma is capable of. I think because they're watching in a Brighton system and the way the manager instructs him to play, they feel he can't do more. If you go back to his Lille days, he was getting into the box a lot more often than he is at Brighton. He was feeding through passes. So don't think this player can't do the things that you think he can't do. He can do it. He's a very good technical player.
I agree with them, Kesh. I think if you watch Neves, he works best with Moutinho next to him, and Partey can't do what Moutinho does.
Yeah.
So if you want Neves, you have to get somebody like a Moutinho next to him. And what's the point of getting Moutinho next to him if you have Partey? I think Bissouma's a better signing than him. Renato Sanchez from Lille is better signing than Neves. Those two are better than Neves.
No, bro. I don't agree that one. You say Renato Sanchez is better signing than who?
Neves, 100%.
Oh man, no way, bro.
I love this guy.
Neves is much better, bro. I think you don't watch Neves. I think.
I watch Wolves. Neves controls the tempo of the game. He spreads it out wide. He spreads it.
Yo, I'm gonna throw it to Lisa now. Lisa, what's your solution to this? Just buy both of them.
I would 100% take Bissouma any day of the week. I think that as much as we have a Partey, you have to take into account, Partey's doing more than what he's supposed to do. Yeah, he's attacking, he's defending. It's because out of all our midfield, he has more of a skill set that Arteta wants him to do. So if he gets Bissouma, there would be a like-to-like partnership that maybe Partey can drop back and kind of defend now and then, but it's going to give Partey more freedom to be a box-to-box.
But Partey cannot shoot the ball, bro.
Yo, what about people saying Neves is an upgrade on XHAKA, and I've heard people saying Neves is a regen of XHAKA. So you have both takes.
I wouldn't say he's a regen, and I wouldn't say he's a massive upgrade. Yes, he's a more dependable player, should I say? If that's the way you want to put it, he's more dependable. You know, you're not going to get these mistakes or lapse of concentration that you do get from XHAKA, which is an added benefit. Because let's face it, it's not really teams undoing us this season that made us put us in the position that we are. It's our own doing. A lot of the goals that we conceded was our own doing, and they came from the likes of Ceballos, Granit Xhaka. Your midfield is the most pivotal point of your reference of your team. That's your heartbeat. And when you got guys like that in the center of the park doing silly things like that, you're bound to concede. And that's one of the things that Arsenal need to get out of their game.
Yo, Bissouma, would you classify him more of as a CDM, or would you classify him more of just a regular center midfielder who can do more than one thing? He's not box to box, I would say, but he's a center midfielder who can sit if you need it, and he can progress the ball.
I don't see him as a CDM. No.
I don't see him as a CDM either. I see us going with 2 central midfielders and an attacking midfielder instead of 2 CDMs. This whole 2 CDM thing doesn't work, in my opinion. You need to have players that are mobile enough to be box to box, but at the same time have the defensive qualities of a defensive midfielder. And that's what I see as Bissouma, where if we get a Neves, I see him strictly as a CDM.
Neves ain't a CDM.
No, but he's not a defensive CDM. He's a guy who sits in that CDM
He's a deep line playmaker.
He's not CDM, bro.
He's not a CDM.
No, but defensive midfielder,
You don't really get out and out CDMs these days. Like, you rarely see that anymore.
Yeah, we got 2 people here. We got Sam. Sam, you're an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, I'm Arsenal fan.
Yeah, and we got Madness London. Are you a Chelsea fan?
No, I'm an Arsenal fan.
I don't know. I got some Chelsea fans coming in here just yelling London's blue. But talk to me. What are you guys saying? Who do you guys taking? Sam first.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, I'm taking Bissouma. Bissouma. He's cold, man. But I don't see him in that DM role. I see him like a sort of like a person that wants to get the ball and fight for the ball. That's what I see, man.
Okay, and what about you, man?
See, me personally, I prefer Neves because, like, if Xhaka's going to leave, we need a midfielder that's going to dictate the play. But Bissouma doesn't do that. Neves does that for Wolves. We need a midfielder that's going to dictate the play, and that is not Bissouma. Like, I think we should get both of them because, like, if Ceballos and Xhaka's going to leave, I think we should add 2 midfielders. But I don't think. Well, we need a midfielder that's going to dictate the play, and like Ruben Neves is way better than Bissouma. Way better.
Absolutely. I wouldn't say way better. They're just different profiles. I wouldn't say why. Explain to me why you think one's better than the other.
No, it's never that. It's never that I think Ruben Neves is better than Bissouma. I think like
he just fits what we need.
Bro, the answer is they are different. They are different. One controls.
He just fits what we need, but
he's completely different players. And also, they are completely different. Since we have Bate, we need Ruben Neves. Now we have Bate, right? If we were not having Bate, I will agree Bissouma. But
I think
we need a player who control. Yeah, we need
even part of Atletico Madrid. He played with Koke and I think he played with Saul. Those are 2 midfielders that are good at controlling the game. They control the tempo of the game.
They're not mobile either. They're not mobile either. I don't think people keep saying that he's not mobile enough.
He's corner driven. He's everything, bro. He's perfect. Or like if we sign him.
He's not as slow as XHAKA or as what people are trying to make out to be and saying he's not mobile and things like that. He actually put up a lot of this defensive contribution in that Wolves team. If you look at his heat map compared to XHAKA, he covers a lot of ground. I don't know where people get this idea from that he's not mobile.
Yo, Gal.
Yeah.
Can I say something about Bissouma?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I feel like he's a bit like Kante because you see Chelsea, yeah. So it's like you'll never sing that, you'll never sing that. Champions of Europe, you'll never sing that. Chelsea.
Oh my days.
Weird, bro.
But Egal.
I can't even take this serious anymore. Man just came on. He said he's an Arsenal fan, had a logical conversation the whole time, and just turned in 2 seconds.
Oh god.
Yo, man, is this even realistic?
No.
Saul Inges.
No, he's going Bayern. He's going Bayern.
He's going Bayern.
Why would you take Arsenal over Bayern?
Who will you take, Saul or Ruben Neves? If
what a stupid question, Saul.
I'll take Bissouma. I'll take Bissouma.
No, between the two of Saul and Neves, if you say anything other than Saul, you obviously don't want Partey to play well. The one thing that we all say with Partey is he's a complementary player and he plays well when he has a good midfielder next to him. Saul was that one person next to him when he was world class, as our fans said he was, which I think he was as well. So Saul would be perfect, but he's going to Bayern Munich. So you already know what I'm going to say, Egal. If Saul goes to Bayern Munich, Go and get Neuhaus immediately. Go and buy Florian Neuhaus because they're not going to buy both because they also need a right back and a centre back. Go and buy him. That guy is quality. He's young.
He is quality.
He fits what we need. Everything about that guy. And I'm not just saying that because, I watched the Bundesliga and, I like Gladbach. He's absolutely quality.
No, he is quality.
But he's got Liverpool though.
So well. No, he could go Liverpool, but
Ruben Neves, we want Ruben Neves.
Ruben
Neves over who?
Neves will be incredible.
I think people who want Neves, remember when Wolves moved to the far at the back and more possession-based play, Wolves were terrible.
I don't personally even believe the Neves rumor.
Same.
I think a lot of these rumors that are coming out now, I personally believe that a lot of it is just smoke screen. It was only 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it was only 2 weeks ago that before the season ended, what's the name came out and said we know our targets, we've spoken to the owners, and they're gonna back us on them. So I'm gonna wait until the window's open for get some confirmation.
Yo, 1 second. There's this guy here, DB. What's his name? DBBH. Yo, what you saying?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm an Arsenal fan, obviously I'm not going to be pranking you with the Chelsea and that, you know what I'm saying? But, bro, I think people are saying Neves needs to be in the team. Like, I don't think you really understand. Like, Bissouma, he's the kind of guy, he is tactical, he really gets in the box. He can shoot, he can dribble, he's an agile player. Then he doesn't look like an agile player, but he actually is. Like, him and Partey, I feel like they'll have such good chemistry together. I don't think Neves would be able to work with Bissouma as well as, like, Neves. You know what I'm saying?
Why we decided, listen, our midfield is going to be thin. Like, why should Arsenal not have the option of 3 good central midfielders? Like, why is it?
No, I understand, but bro, we're broke. Like, come on, we're not getting any money pumped in by the Kroenke and all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't get both now. You got to think of one or the other. Really, let's be honest. Like, you're not going to get both.
With what we're selling, we should be able to get both. There's no doubt about that. We should be able to get both. If Xhaka's leaving, you got Willock who's meant to be leaving. If the right offer comes in, you got Guendouzi, Torreira. Arsenal's going to be making on sale roughly at least 120 mil.
Yeah.
So there's no excuse. There's no excuse. Like, I'm not trying to go into a season with just the likes of Partey, either Bissouma or Neves. It doesn't make any sense.
Yo, let me just get Lisa's take on this and Gunnar Express's before we move on and we wrap up. But guys in the chat, do me a favor. We're 75 likes away from hitting our target of 300 for today's video. If you guys can do that for me, that'd be really great.
Before you move on, can I just answer that you just brought up?
Yeah.
Put it back up.
Which one?
No, not that one. The one that says Partey and Bissouma is not CDM.
Well, they won't work because they're similar. This one.
Listen, midfield is so simple, man. Like, you don't need to be both a CDM. As long as you're both combative and you can do your defensive responsibility. When I played football, before there was all this hype about systems, it was one midfielder go, one stay. You rotate. I don't understand this point where you need a CDM. You don't need an out-and-out CDM. It's all about communication. If you're going, bro, I'm staying. If I'm going, you stay. Simple as that.
All right, Lisa.
Yo.
Ruben Neves, Bissouma. You said you want both. You said you want both, but if you could go out and get a Bundia replacement, who would it be? Because that's the next conversation. Who are we gonna go and get out of instead of Bundia? And that's why I was bringing up these images of Sabitzer and these guys. Because Gunnar Express clearly said he would want Neuhaus if we can't get Saul, right? I'm saying, why don't we just drop the money and get Sabitzer at this point? Do you agree with that?
He's gonna be a free.
Yeah,
and he's not going to Bayern Munich as well. There's all this stuff saying he's going with Nagelsmann. There's literally no rumors saying that. Also, Sabitzer has already said the only German team he'll ever play for is Leipzig because he owes them pretty much. Like, he owes Red Bull a lot because they made his career. And as well, they've got Muller. Like, how stupid are people? Do you just forget Muller
exists? He's a free transfer.
Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying he's not going to go to Bayern Munich. There's all these things people say, oh, he's going to Bayern Munich. There's no point in even talking about him. They have Muller, the best centre attacking midfielder in world football. So Sabitzer definitely is available. He's 100%
and I don't
available.
think he's gonna want to go to Bayern to just sit on the bench until Muller because Muller has probably like good 2 or 3 years still in him. So no one
And
really wants to rot
and
in
the
that.
thing is, they've got Musiala as well, who they've
Yeah, yeah.
obviously shown
So
interest in
they're
bringing through
definitely
now.
stacking
So
that. Yeah,
he's not going to play much if he goes there.
yeah.
Like Lisa just said, it's facts.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, there's options out there. This is why after that BERND thing, I think us as fans just need to take a step back.
Yeah.
As I said before, with these ITKs, just ignore them.
Yeah.
You see, Arsenal's the one club in the Premier League for years that a lot of people never know what they're doing until the last minute. They don't talk. They don't let people know their business and their dealings. Like, you see how Man United would have a target and it will come out there. Arsenal's not like that. And that's why you see the likes for years and years. You see Draxler being linked, Benzema being linked. Because these newspapers, it's all clickbait. They know Arsenal fans are going to be clicking every day, and that's how they get their pays. That's how they're getting paid. You can't believe half of these rumors, man. I'm not even buying into it.
Does anybody think Sabitzer is not a good choice for Arsenal?
He'd be my first.
He'd be my first.
If it's
So
possible,
he's
he'll
your
be my
first
first. You saw in January when I was talking about him. If
Wait,
he's available and we can get him, that's if no other big team's going in for him. I'm going to get him because what you're going to get from him, he's going to be a goal threat. You know what he does. You know what a strike he's got on him.
Where does he play, bro? Where does he play? Where is his position?
Attacking midfield.
Oh, okay. But we need center midfielder, bro.
We need two centre midfielder and a 10. I keep saying that. I don't understand. We keep saying he's not a centre mid. We need more than one centre mid plus a number 10. Like, we can't go into the season depending on Emile Smith Rowe to carry us.
And to add on to that, when he's saying we need more, especially on the midfield, you have to take into account the teams on top of us. They're going to be out there to kind of maintain or actually challenge for the title or the top four. So it's never guaranteed the type of players that you get. You're back to get top four, So that's one thing, is don't kind of depend you're going to get this player or this player. It's if you actually want to build and succeed step by step, these are the type of players that we need in our system further on.
Yeah, I'm just saying Arsenal make it happen at this point, because if we can get Sabitzer, he would be an absolute gem. He would walk into this team and he would help us with creativity, leadership. Don't forget, this is the captain of RB Leipzig, right? And he would walk into our team and be an instant leader, carrying. He would replace the character that Granit Xhaka is. As much as some people don't like Granit Xhaka, him leaving the dressing room, David Luiz leaving the dressing room, we're losing a lot of characters. And this guy coming in would be amazing. Because he would. I'm not saying he's a like for like replacement.
Egal, can I add one thing? Egal, can I say one thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Every top 6 club, they have a player who can dictate the ball. For us, since Santi Cazorla left, we didn't have that type of player. Look at Man City, they have Gundogan. Look at Liverpool, they have Thiago Alcantara. Chelsea, they have Jorginho. For us, we have Xhaka. Xhaka is just. He's trash, bro. Okay, Shaq, if he goes, we have to sign a player who can dictate the ball.
Who's this talking?
Mahdi.
You just hit the nail on the head, bro. I feel like you hit the nail on the head. And this is what I mean when people are saying, oh, it's the Mikel Arteta system that's not working. He talks about it all the time. He wants to keep the pressure on when we're in possession. But we haven't got players to dictate the play and keep the tempo. So how do you expect to do that? Like, you see the way the likes of Man City play. They play in opposition half. You think you're going to be able to do that with the likes of Partey and Xhaka? It's not possible.
Absolutely, bro.
Yo, at this point, I feel like these guys need to recruit some fans, because we would be doing a better job than some of these scouts. Or maybe the club just does not have money to get any of these transfers over the line. What do you think?
They are restricted. They are restricted. I mean, it's obvious. As much as we say we spent, yes, we have spent in the past, but as of now, right now, forget what's in the past. We spent very poorly. But right now, Arsenal have not got money. And that's from years of incompetence, financial management. And this is why we're in the situation we are now, where you've got the likes where a team like Arsenal shouldn't even front to put up an extra 5 mil for BERND, whether he's average or not. You know what I mean? So there's too much restrictions, way too much restrictions, and these lot
And
come
yeah,
out and
I
say,
think the
hey,
most frustrating thing about Arsenal, yeah, the way football has evolved, yeah, if you genuinely want that player and he fits your system and he's gonna take you that next step, what's 2 million or 5 million difference to you? It's either you get top 4 to get into that Champions League and build on, because like for example, the Conte whole thing, in the sense where apparently we didn't give enough money for his agent, and look how he's performed throughout the years. He's consistent, you know what he's going to get for you. And it's one of those frustrating things. Football has evolved. You have to catch on. There's no point of trying to play morale of like, I don't think you're valued at that. Like what is, that's not your player. But if you want him, this is what you have to pay. It's so simple, but Arsenal tend to make things more difficult than what it actually is.
Yo, we're gonna wrap up. Before we wrap up, the last thing. Did you guys see the Fofana picture?
Yeah, with the Arsenal top, yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing, honestly. Let's just
Yeah.
keep that. Forget about that. Rafinha, does it make sense to get players and shoehorn them into positions that they don't play in anymore?
We don't need Rafinha. We don't need Bro.
It doesn't make sense, right?
That made no sense.
Yeah, so unfortunately, Rafinha doesn't make sense for Arsenal currently in the position that he would be playing in. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Do me a favor, smash that like button. Hopefully, we got past the 300. Oh no, we're only at 250, but we're gonna get there eventually, guys. Just keep smashing those likes. We got Kesh here. Kesh is back. Thanks for coming on, Kesh. You're busy guy to get a hold of these days because of everything, back to work and everything. But yo, what do you got to say to everybody freaking out about Arsenal?
Wait, listen, as I said, let's not get our hopes up. And when it comes to the end of the transfer window, we start giving it a rating that it does not deserve, that we've always given over the past few years. We saw what happened last season, where we got a party in Gabriel and a few fans were voting it as a tremendous window. Let's not do that again. Let's stay very grounded. When the transfer window is finished, we make our decision and rate it, and we go from there.
All right, Lisa, what do you got to say to everybody? Closing remarks.
I think it's the same thing with Cash. There's no point of wasting your energy or trying to fight with rivals, that you missed on this player, At the end of the day, we don't know what Arsenal's doing behind the scene. And I think that taking to the fact that we generally don't like the Cronkies, so whatever they deliver, yeah, it's one thing to be excited about. But when the season starts, that's when the main questions are going to be asked. So just kind of don't waste your energy. Don't do anything. Just go play sports, drink some stuff. And then when the transfer's done, that's when your opinion should come out.
Okay. I don't condone drinking, so don't drink the juice, kids. Next, Glenn, what are you saying?
I think Arsenal fans, we should be calm, relax. Buendia, I can name 5 better players than him. Zaniolo, what's it called? We've got better players out there than him that Arsenal should be targeting. Barella, Inter in financial trouble. We can go and get him for a bit cheaper. There's players like Mohamed Kudus at Ajax. He's better than Buendia. There's loads of better players than Buendia. So Arsenal fans, calm down, relax. Like Arteta knows who he wants. So let's wait. Let's see who you get. I think like it hasn't even opened the transfer window. We should relax. When the transfer window finishes, and if Arsenal haven't done the business, then this anger that we feel right now, that's when we should show it. But right now we should be calm and see where it's going. If after the Euros, a couple of weeks after the Euros, and still no signings have been made, then we should be angry.
Yo, Glenn, Ben, Muhdin, find me on Twitter, guys, so I can add you into the group, so you don't have to ask for the link next time. And then, Muhdin, what's your take on this? Closing remarks. You still want Neves?
Bro, for me, let me tell you, as I said, all the top 4 clubs, they have that midfield that can dictate the ball. Look at Leicester, they have Yuri Tielemans. It's the only club that doesn't have those type of players. Since Santiago left, we don't have that kind of player, you know. So we have to sign central midfielder, okay? We have Thomas Partey as box to box, and he can play central defensive midfielder. So for me, I'm saying, obviously we need 4 players, but I have to see one central midfielder for me.
Yeah. Yo, Glenn, you're getting a lot of love. Yo, where'd Ben go? Ben, you're the last person to speak. Oh man, he's gone. But yo, thanks for coming on, Cash. Thanks for coming on, Lisa. Thanks for coming on, Glenn, Dean, everybody else who's come on. Gunnar Express, Azan, Realist, Natish. If I'm missing anybody, I'm sorry. But yeah, what were you gonna say?
I say big up, bro. Peace, bro. I'm out.
All right, yo, peace out. And yo, everyone who's watching, have yourselves a wonderful day, wonderful evening. England's playing at 5 o'clock, and you guys already know we're out of here. Peace. What's going on, everybody? I need you guys to go check out my channel and subscribe if you're new. And don't forget to subscribe, hit that button, and hit that notification bell while you're at it, ladies and gentlemen. EG